Hello everyone, my name's Aurora Dawn and I'm your host today on Small Messy Kitchens. Welcome to the show. Okay, today we will be making tacos. Okay, now I know what you're thinking, it's not Cinco de Mayo anymore. We can't do tacos. It's Memorial Day when I am filming this, so I honestly don't care. I am making tacos because I got the ingredients for tacos and I feel like making it. Also, it's simple, easy to make, and filling. Okay, now I'm going to be going through all my ingredients and most of the items that I use to make it so that it's easy for anyone who wants to follow along to join me. Okay, now first things first, letting you guys know right now you are on my phone. So yeah, welcome to my Small Messy Kitchen on Small Messy Kitchens. Okay, as you can see here, I got a nice head of lettuce that we're going to work with, and that is going to be our... Well, I don't do shredded lettuce, let's say, for tacos, okay? If I wanted a bag of shredded lettuce, I'd go get a bag of shredded lettuce. Right now here, I have an actual full head of lettuce because I want to use a full head of lettuce. Okay, I'm going to set you up right here next to my chopping board. Okay. And yes, I will be rambling on because that is what I do when I am alone or when I cook. Okay, now, most of you guys who watch my channel are usually in it for the art videos. So thank you to the couple of subscribers that I do have. If you are new to my channel, well, please subscribe. Okay, now, I'm not actually going to be chopping up this whole thing a lot. Okay, I'm going to be like taking off bad greens here and there, like this one's a good green, so... First things first, obviously, we've got to wash it, okay? So, cold water. That way we don't wilt it. And scrub it. Now right here, I have a strainer under it so that we catch everything, okay? I will be washing the strainer before I put any of the meat in it also, okay? Don't want cross-contamination. And before anyone asks, yes, I did wash my hands before doing the video, okay? Thank you. Okay, now, as I'm going through this, I'm tearing off parts of the leaves here. Alright? Really, the only reason I even have the knife and the cutting board there is so that I can cut off this stem. Okay? Alright. Now, I ended up with a bit of a big head, so no worries on leftovers. Okay, it's always good to cut off the stem here so that you don't have too much problems with it later on. It's not edible anyway, as far as I know. Maybe to a hamster or something it is, but not to me. Okay, now, you're probably wondering what I'm going to do with all this lettuce in terms of storage, because, yeah, I've got to prep all the taco meat and everything else, right? Well, for that, I happen to have a very handy Tupperware product. Okay. And no, before anyone asks, I am not endorsed or anything like that by Tupperware, okay? Or any of the other products and stuff that I use, okay? Nobody's sponsoring me or anything like that. I am literally just stating what I know works, okay? And I've been raised on Tupperware the majority of my memory life, okay? Okay. This particular Tupperware product is a vegetable and fruit container of sorts. As you can see here, it's got the different fruits and it's got the different vegetables and fruits that can go into here, and these buttons here at the top are telling me what to set the lid for to contain it. Now, some of you are probably skeptical as to how this works, and honestly, if I had all the answers, I would tell you. What I can tell you, though, is that it does work, because this lettuce is due to expire within a couple of days, as lettuce usually does. And I can guarantee you that this lettuce will last at least another week more than it would. So I will have no problems having leftovers with this lettuce, or even a salad with this lettuce, next week, or even possibly the week after, depending on how early I got the head in. Now, I bought this head of lettuce yesterday, so hopefully it'll be good for like another 2 weeks. Okay? And the lid is right over here. Okay, you probably can't see it due to my camera quality, but there's the empty circle, there's the full circle, and then there's the half circle setting. Since I'm using the lettuce, I will be using the half circle setting, and that will help to keep the greens better. Okay, I do not recommend mixing your vegetables and fruit in here because that could lead to complications, not only in storage, but also in how you set it. Okay, ooh, that is nice and long. Now, what I like here is I like the crisp parts of the lettuce, so I will be most likely, when I make my tacos, I will probably be using the closer to the bottom parts that are crisper, because I like crispy lettuce, okay? So, there's that. Now, the cheese, yeah, I will be cutting up a block of cheese for this. No, I have bagged cheese for this. Never mind. I have bagged cheese for this recipe today. The block cheese is for another recipe that I will do later this week. I don't know if I'll video that though. But, yeah. And yes, I do mostly do my own cooking. Okay? And these are ingredients that you can get at most stores pretty easily. Like, most of the time I'll get my ingredients from Walmart. This time I happen to get them from Hagen's. You can get them from Safeway sometimes, Fred Meyer's even. All depends on where you are and what's close to you. Local farmers market is also good for fresh lettuce and vegetables and stuff. Okay, and depending on what kind of brands you like. Alright. Now, if you find that you can't take apart the whole head without overfilling, take apart enough of it so that you can still fit it into the container. Because you can take this apart as you go throughout your week, okay? Now, I can cut off a bit more of this. And yes, it's a paring knife, I know. But it works good on a lot of things, like seriously. It's from Trovolo. Huh. Either way, good paring knife, seriously. It's good for cutting a lot of things. Like I use it to cut vegetables, I use it to cut steak. Surprisingly, yes, it can cut steak. At least after you've cooked it. I haven't, well, I think my fiance tested it on uncooked steak. Either way. So, for now, I will be sealing this up in my Tupperware container. And as I said, it is the half button. So, set this to the half switch. And I'm going to put this in the fridge until I'm ready to go for it, okay? As I said, tacos, not the hardest thing to do. If I haven't said that, I do apologize. Now, cheese, I went and got just a Mexican mix from Kraft. You know how it is. Just grab what you can. Other times, though, you can go and get a block of cheese. My recommendation is usually a Colby and Monterey Jack brand, or type, I mean. Okay, you can just use this, chop up the block into however big you want, and use a cheese shredder or a grate. It'll work. Now, next up, what I'm going to prepare, because I already have my tortillas and tacos, because yay old El Paso, and yeah, just grab some tortillas from the store. Okay, so next up will be the meats. Okay, what I have here is 2 pounds of ground beef. Okay, this is for usually for larger families or for if you're just stocking up leftovers. Okay, so this is good stuff to have around. Okay, now before I even unpackage that though, I'm going to clean this up here so that I don't have to worry about having cross-contamination in my food. And yeah, I know, it's supposed to be, like, don't do the meats before the vegetables stuff, but I'm overcautious, and we're in a time when we need to be overcautious, okay? So, I will rinse this off real quick. Okay. Goody goody. Alright. Now, I already have a pan set up here for the meat, and I also have some of my mother's homemade salsa instead of taco mix. Now, I know most of you guys who are watching this probably use taco mix from, like, I don't know, McCormick, Betty Crocker maybe, I don't know who does it anymore. I know McCormick does one. But I'm going to say this flat out and honestly, if you're addicted to Taco Bell and you try this recipe, you will never be able to go back. I know I can't. Okay? So, let's continue. And yes, before you get worried, I am going to change where my camera is so that you can see me cooking. Okay? So, let me just grab you. Hello again. Okay? You're now propped up to see my stove. Okay? Now, this here's a lot more meat than I'm used to putting into my tiny pans. But that is fine. Okay? You're blocked for a minute, but I promise you, you're okay. Alright? Like, I'm just getting the meat out, and you're not going to miss anything, honestly. Okay? Now, the meat is thawed out. You can use frozen meat if you really want to, but it's always good to have it thawed out first. Washing my hands again, because the meat was a bit bloody. That's okay. Okay. Hi again. Okay, so now I'm going to turn on my stove. I will be turning it on to somewhere in between medium and high so that it can start cooking and get going on what it needs to. Okay? And as you can see, I've got a whole 2 pounds in there. I'll be breaking that up. There we go. Okay. And that jar you're seeing on the other side is my mom's salsa. Now, the reason I have the salsa out is because that is going to replace the taco seasoning that you all are used to. Okay? Now, taco seasoning has its uses, I guess. But like I said, this is going to make you forget all about that. Okay? Now, if you don't have homemade garden salsa, what you can do is you can go and use pico de gallo. And you can use other salsas from your local market or store. I just like my mom's homemade salsa because it's like, seriously, she grows the vegetables in her own backyard. It is amazing. Okay? But, in all seriousness here, a pico de gallo will work just as well, so long as it's a fresh pico de gallo. Doesn't have the same kick, though, but, again, I'm just ranting. Okay? Now I'm breaking it up into smaller pieces, but I'm not mincing it and turning it into mush like Taco Bell does, or most people, because I like it chunky when I have my tacos. Okay? Heat's already starting to build up, so that's good. Okay? And I know some of you guys are probably worried about all the red. It's honestly going to be fine. Once this cooks out a bit, it's actually going to shrink the meat a little bit into smaller pieces, so that'll make it more manageable for my pan here. Okay? Because all the fat, well, not all the fat, obviously, but a good portion of the fat will cook out. This here was an 85% fat, 15% lean, I believe. That's if I'm right. I'm pretty sure it is. And this is good stuff for tacos because then you get a lot of the flavoring. Okay? Now, I'm going to let it sit for a bit and do its thing because, as I said, it's got a lot to brown. Okay? This here is going to be for the before because I had used up the taco mix for a previous taco. So this is going to be my before taco seasoning, before it's ready. And before I drain the meat, I will all of this in there. But then after I drain it, I'm going to use a bit of this to finish it up afterwards so that we get that good taste. Okay? It's the same salsa, I promise you. Okay? I'm not doing anything fancy to it. I'm literally just cooking in salsa with a taco meat, which is just ground beef for anyone who needs to know. Okay? This is an easy recipe that anyone who's allowed to use the stove can do. Okay? And I will start doing more cooking videos, like probably once or twice a month, depending on financial issues and situation. Okay? But for now, this is my first cooking video, so I thought tacos. My next one, I think I'm going to do breakfast muffins or something, you know? Because why not? They taste good. Basically, you'll find me doing crazy recipes once in a while, but for the most part, I will be doing basic, easy to do recipes that anyone can do at home, okay? This will include a couple of recipes from a box, maybe a couple of recipes that are just normal for you to see here and there, but really, the point of this whole thing is just to have some fun cooking videos that anyone can follow, okay? Because there are so many people out there who have no clue how to turn on a stove. I'm going to show you real quick. You see those dials? That's the turn on thing. You turn the switch, okay? And yes, I know I'm aggravating to those of you who do know how to turn on the stove. I'm serious though, there are a lot of college students like me, only they don't know how to cook at all. And it makes me very sad. They also don't know how to do their laundry. Hashtag do your chores. Or whatever. Now, we gotta make sure that the meat doesn't burn, otherwise that's gonna end up with a whole new flavor and it's not gonna be a good one. Okay? So I'll be moving this around a bit here and there to make sure that everything's good. Now, as promised, some of the meat has thinned out a little bit, and you see that bubbling stuff? That's the fat. I will be draining a good portion of that out into my strainer here so that we don't have like the goopiest stuff ever in our tacos. Okay? Okay. Good. I learned how to make tacos from my mom. So the majority of the recipes that I do are from family, or I've just picked up from what I do. Okay? And for those of you who think that I'm literally doing this because I have nothing else to do, the reason that it'll take so long is because I am a daycare teacher. So working with kids, I also know what they like. So if you have any requests for certain kids' ages, snacks, and foods, please let me know in the comments below, and I will see if I can pull up some videos or do some videos for you for easy-to-go snacks and such for children. And when I say daycare, I mean infants all the way up to 12 before someone gets snarky with me and say, oh, I don't know what my 8-year-old will eat if you're just teaching 4-year-olds and stuff. I'm like, really? It's not going to be that much different. The literal main difference between what bigger kids eat and smaller kids eat is how you proportion it. Okay? Okay. Now this is just greasy enough that I actually do have to drain it a little bit early, and then I'll put it back in here. Now, the reason that I'm putting on the mitt is because sometimes the handle gets too hot. Also, for our viewers who don't realize that they should probably wear protective gear more. Okay? By the looks of this, though, I'll need the mitt on my left hand in order to stabilize this. Okay? Now, I'm managing to just drain out some of the fat, so I can just put it right back on here and go back to my work. Okay? I do not recommend doing that for too long, because if you have this on the bottom of that, that can eventually burn your hand, as it will burn through the fabric. Okay? And don't worry about me draining too much of the juice, because honestly, it's already forming again. Okay? Now, some people will like it thinner on their chunks, and that's fine, honestly. It all depends on what you like, okay? Like I said, I just prefer it somewhat chunkier, so the majority of this will actually be in chunkier form, but there will also be parts that are minced up because it can't be helped. Okay? Now I'm setting it to medium now so that I can finish browning the rest of the meat. Okay? Because some of it is still way too red, and that is not good for this kind of food. Okay? At least as far as I'm concerned. I never liked having red meat when it came to tacos. Okay? Red meat on a burger or steak, I'm iffy. Honestly, I'm more of a well-done person. But I can handle medium. I cannot, however, handle rare. Sorry. So if you see me cooking burgers or steak, it will not be rare. Okay? At one point or another, I will probably do a cooking video on how to make your own burgers. Because my mom's got a good recipe for that too, and and you're going to laugh at how simple and easy it is. Salt and pepper. Okay, if you want to add other stuff, it's easy enough. But yeah. Okay. Now, I'm going to add in the rest of this salsa here. Okay. And I'm going to give you a good look at it first before I even start mixing it in. So, as you can see, we've got different types of peppers and tomatoes in that mix there. Sorry, it's a little hard for me to figure out where my camera is on this thing. But yeah. We've got bits of onion, bits of pepper. We've got all sorts of stuff in there that makes for a really good salsa. Okay. I think my camera's on the top corner. That's annoying, but okay. Now I'm going to start mixing this in here so that the meat absorbs the flavor. Okay? This will also help it cook a little because the juice from the salsa will boil as well. And that helps it a lot. Okay? But the reason that I'm doing it before it's fully browned is so that the meat itself absorbs the juices. And not just like the outer layer, but like the full-on inside of it and everything. Because it helps to have it soak in the salsa juice. Okay? Now you're probably wondering like what container I'm going to store this in. Well, those of you who tuned in because you just wanted to see like how to make leftovers and stuff. Okay, I actually do have a solution for that, so while it's still browning, and yeah, I know, never walk away from a cooking stove. I promise you I'm literally 3 feet away, okay? But I'm going to be using another Tupperware product that I have, and it's another good one. Okay, honestly, I have yet to have a bad Tupperware product near me. Okay. I don't find many Tupperware products that I don't like, just because of what I do. Yeah. Alright, this here is a type of microwavable bowl that Tupperware sells. Okay. Dishwasher safe, microwave safe. Okay. And when you need to cook it, you can press this tab here and it'll let out the steam so it doesn't like pop and blow up your microwave. Okay, this will help. It's great for storing heated leftovers such as taco meat, pasta, and a few other things. You can easily bring it to school, and if your school has a microwave, because again, I'm a college student, so this is what I do. Okay, when I'm not working in my daycare. I say my, but really the daycare. And no, I'm not going to say which daycare because, yeah, it's probably best if I don't yet. Okay. Okay. This is almost ready for me to finish draining. And then I'll add in a bit more salsa mix. Okay. So let's take a look at it right now. See that? That is lovely. Okay. When you have it like that, that is what you are looking for before you drain it. And I remind you to drain it so that you don't end up with leaky tacos. Okay. It'll ruin your taco shell and make it very annoying when you try to bite in for the crunch and you get soggy. It's like, ah! I wanted the crunch. Okay. I do apologize for my weirdness, but this is actually me on a normal day. Okay? So, if you like all my antics and all the insanity that I ensue, please keep following. Okay? Oh, for those of you who are here for my art, I will be doing more art videos as soon as I can. I hate using my phone though, so that's really the main reason why I've slowed down on it. Is because my phone is my only camera. Okay? Now, I'm going to turn off the heat because there's no need for it. Okay? And once more, I'm going to use this. This time, though, I am going to pour it all into the filter that I've got, which is a colander, I believe. Okay. Pour it all into there. Okay. Now, I'm not going to use a lot of the salsa mix that I've got in here because I already put in a good portion into the first part. So I'm going to shake it up a little. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. And the reason that I do this is because if you can see the liquid coming out of this, it is a lot of grease. You don't want that in your food, okay? I know most people don't care and they'll just cook it and eat it. But this is something that I do care about because the amount of grease in you will mess with your stomach, especially if you're having a good taco night. Okay, so I shake out a good portion of the grease. And yeah, that'll shake out a couple of bits of tomato and some of the meat bits. But in all honesty, it'll be better off for you in the long run. Okay, now I'm going to pour this back into the pan. And before I do anything else, I'm going to show you how much grease is in my sink now because of this, okay? This is why you shake it, because you don't want all that mess in your stomach. It will make you sick, or if you're very lucky, it won't. But for the most part, having that much amount of grease in you can mess with your dietary system, okay? It's also not good for little kids, for those who need to know, okay? And if you're a college student, you really don't need that before your finals, okay? And this is coming from the kid who used to have tacos most days at lunchtime when she lived in the dorms, okay? Now, let's go back over here. Now, I have to open up freshly this new can of salsa. Give me a sec. Alright. Can's off. Can's open. Now, I'm going to pour in mostly the juice and shake in a little bit of the salsa, not too much, okay? Because this is a rather potent salsa. It's mild still, but for the most part, all those pepper seeds in there, I don't know if it's jalapeno or if it's bell pepper. It's probably both, knowing my luck. But my mom makes a darn good salsa with it, and that tells me that it's going to be strong. Because she's a southern woman, okay? She loves her hot and spicy tacos when she can get them. While you are cooking, it is good to rinse out your items so that you don't have a buildup of a mess later on when you're done. So I'm rinsing out the colander and the sink. And I am also rinsing out that salsa can, that salsa jar that I just used, okay? And don't worry, it's not going to affect the salsa behind me in the taco mix, okay? Alright, now, if you've just opened the jar of salsa, or you still have some pico de gallo or whatever salsa you're using left, please remember to close what's left of it and seal it up properly, and then place it in the fridge. Your vegetables and fruits go on the higher shelves, your meats, raw or cooked, on the lower shelves. Okay? I know not everyone has a food handler's card, and some of you who do don't seem to realize this is important for your home kitchen as well as your work kitchen. Okay? Okay. Even those of you who do have a food handler's card don't realize it's important for work. So please, if you're watching this, check your kitchen fridge for how it gets organized. This can save your life, or at least your stomach. Okay? Now, I'm going to turn this on to a simmer so that it keeps the meat hot while I mix in the salsa, because the salsa was neutral, or it could be cold depending on if you just got it out of the fridge, okay? I know you guys can't smell this because they have yet to invent smell-o-vision or whatever they were stupidly calling it when you could smell things coming out of videos. But like, this actually smells really good right now. I might need to add a bit more salsa though to increase strength because it's not as potent as I like it to be. Okay, so I will occasionally bring up the salsa just to do that. Whoops, way too much. Oh well. This happens once in a while when you're just lazily pouring it. You only end up with a little left. Sorry, but you don't have to suffer through that if you are careful. I will be eating this though. In all honesty, it's not going to change how it tastes to me. Because, again, it's a good salsa, so I probably just made it better. I probably just saved myself from having to open the fridge again, if I have to be honest here. Okay, because like I said, it's good to mix this all in. And again, I'm having it heated up so that it keeps all the ingredients merging together, and the heat from the meat will allow it to absorb the taco seasoning, aka my salsa, a lot better. Okay, and again, you saw it for yourself. I am not doing any seasoning or anything like that. I am quite literally just dumping a bit of salsa in. Okay, for those of you who have the pico de gallo, I recommend a small tub, maybe 8 ounces. Okay, 8 ounces or so of salsa, depending on how much meat you're doing. I recommend a full 8 ounces for a full 2 pounds, or even for 1 pound. Again, it really does vary on your tastes. Okay. Alright, I'm going to show you what it looks like now so that you get a good idea as to what you're hoping for, okay? Now see this here, this is what I hope for when I see my taco meat, okay? It's juicy, thick, and filled with vegetables. For those of you who are strictly carnivorous, I'm sorry, this is an omnivore's recipe. For those of you who are vegetarian, there's actually recipes online, I'm sure, that replace the beef with other vegetables such as tofu and other such things. I remember when I was in middle school, there was a type of, we did a vegetarian taco, but I can't seem to remember what the item was. Maybe one day I'll look it up, because, sorry, I don't like tofu, okay? But there are other replacements suitable for this, okay? So, yeah. Now, I'm going to turn off my oven so that I don't end up with a burning problem. And I'm going to plate my taco, okay? As I said, I made enough for leftovers for the week. So this is good for either a family night or leftovers throughout a week, depending on your living conditions and how many you got living in your house. Okay? Now, something that I like to do is I like to use tortillas for the bottom of my taco. And I don't mean like I'm going to have a soft burrito taco, okay? Let me show you. Hold on. Okay. I'll set you up somewhere else now. So that's what I like to do. I like to set that up and then put on my shells. Let's go with a good 3. Okay. Now, I know some of you are probably wondering, hey, shouldn't you taste the taco meat before you call it done? And you are right, yes. That is normal and is probably preferred for most cases. In my case, however, I don't usually do that with taco meat and certain things because certain recipes are best to know by smell first. And the smell is really good, okay? I know, not good enough, right? Now what I'm doing now is I'm grabbing one of my spoons here for serving the taco meat so that I can serve it into my taco shell. Okay? Because my spatula, it does not do well on serving things into taco shells. This is sad, but true. Okay? I'm going to place you back into your normal spot here, right next to my stove, so you can see me build a taco from all my craziness. Okay? And yes, I probably did take a lot longer to do a taco video than most people would. Meh. Okay? Okay? You want to have enough just to fill the bottom here. You don't want to overstuff it. So if you have it overstuffed, just push it to the side. Okay? That way you have room for your lettuce and cheese and whatever else you want to put in. I'm a basic person, so you'll find my tacos are the meat, the lettuce, and the cheese. Okay? I don't do sour cream. Sorry. If you want to do sour cream, you can add it yourself. But this is the part where you build your taco and you add in whatever you want to add in. Okay? So I'm adding in my meat, and then I will go and add in my lettuce, and then I will go and add in my cheese. Okay? Now, if you're like my fiance, he will go and add in the lettuce and cheese first, and then he'll add in the meat. Each to their own. Doesn't matter, honestly. What matters is how it tastes to you, because you are the one eating your recipe, or your version of this. Okay? I understand if you want to adapt the recipe to whatever you have available, or whatever you think is good for it. Okay? Perfectly fine. Again, this is just a basic recipe that I thought would be nice to put out there, because some people don't know how to cook and they need help. Okay? Also, it's very sad when I see college students who don't know how to cook or do anything, so this is mostly for them and their starter families and stuff. Because some of my generation, and yes, for those of you who don't know, I am a millennial, as far as you guys call it. Some of you guys don't know how to cook or do laundry, and it's a bit worrisome, so it's like, okay. Anyway, next thing, the lettuce. Let me go grab that. Okay. Again, I'm using a Tupperware container for this. Right? And that will actually store it really, really well. Okay? And I like my lettuce pieces, like, I'm okay with shredded lettuce, honestly, but I like the bigger pieces because of the crunch. So you'll find me overstuffing my tacos a little bit when it comes to the lettuce, just because the pieces are pretty big, and the crunch is way better in certain pieces than others. Okay. Nevertheless, though, the reason for the tortilla on the bottom is to actually catch anything that falls out when I'm eating it. So that'll catch not only taco juice that remains, along with salsa juice, but also catch any pieces of lettuce, cheese, and meat that fall out. Because there's always a chance of that happening. So if you're having a family night and you want your kids to eat everything off their plate, this is a trick that you can have them do. And it will almost literally guarantee that they will eat everything off their plate, because then they'll have a soft taco to eat everything else off of when it falls. Okay? Now, I need to grab my cheese. I just got it out, too. Didn't I get that cheese out? Yep, here it is. I'm blind. Okay. If it's in a sealable bag like this, you can just put it back in the fridge when you're done. Otherwise, there are other containers that you can use that are microwavable or non, depending on what you want to do with it. I recommend a non-microwavable one. Just put it in the fridge, okay? Like a simple bowl with a lid. Okay? And yes, I do overstuff my cheese. It's a taco. It's supposed to be overstuffed, in my opinion. If it's not, well, I'm sorry. Okay? All right. There's my tacos. Now, I recommend a glass of milk with this because tacos do tend to have a kick. They are spicy. They're considered spicy. So, again, I recommend a glass of milk. Always good. Okay. So, I'm going to get me some milk before I even bite into that taco because I know I will need it. I'm not as strong as my mom, so the salsa, she says it's mild. It's probably pretty spicy to me, considering I know what I'm working with. Well, it's not too spicy. Still, point being, if you're also doing pico de gallo, depending on your intensity choice of it, and depending on what kind of other salsas that you want, like you can use verde salsa, green salsa, or you can use pretty much any salsa you want with this, but please know your spice limit, okay? I can handle mild to mid, sort of. I cannot handle like ghost pepper level or anything like crazy. And for those of you who don't know what a ghost pepper is, you're not ready for it if you don't know what it is. Okay? Again, all these ingredients for these tacos are really easy to find at almost any grocery store, okay? You're just getting your shells, tortilla, meat, a salsa mix, lettuce, and cheese, okay? If I've repeated an ingredient, I do apologize. I have a bad habit of doing so. Here's my cup of milk. Now, let's have a taco. Perfect. Okay. Now, again, I could have added the whole can of salsa and wouldn't have a problem with it. Okay. In fact, sorry, wrong windpipe. Wrong pipe. In fact, I might actually do that to the rest of my meat just because. That either way, it's mixed in, it's all good. This was a simple how to make tacos video. I know it took like over 45 minutes to do, but that's because meat takes forever to brown. Okay. So, yeah. I will see you guys on the next Small Messy Kitchens. If you would like to try any of the Tupperware products that I mentioned, there are Tupperware consultants probably in your area. You can also, I'm also going to be putting into the description below, a link, if I do this right, to a Tupperware consultant that I know. Okay, and we should be able to get you going. Okay. As for the other products, you got to try your luck on the stores. Sorry, guys. Okay. But, yeah. Have a good day. Stay safe. Stay at home. Stay healthy. Okay. And I will see you guys next time with Small Messy Kitchens. Bye.